Today, we'll be talking about a subject that has touched the lives of millions of individuals worldwide. We're going to be talking about suicide. In this episode, I will define what suicide is, let you know what a suicide attempt is, and give you facts and really good statistics from the foundation of suicide prevention. We will also talk about the warning signs, how to help individuals who may be in this category, and give you resources that you can use to combat this public health issue. Today, we're talking about suicide. Having this conversation will change your life. You will learn, grow, and be a changing agent for our generation. This conversation is everything. So, suicide is really considered to be death caused by injury to oneself with the intent of dying. Suicide attempt is when an individual harms themselves with the intent of losing their life, but they do not die as a result of their actions. Several factors can increase the risk of suicide and protect against it. Suicide is connected to other forms of injury and violence and causes serious health and economic consequences. Suicide and other forms of violence can actually be prevented by using public health approaches that address the risks and protective factors for multiple types of violence. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention reports that suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. They also said that it was the second leading cause of death for individuals ages 10 through 34. They also said that it's the fourth leading cause of death for individuals 35 through 54. On average, 132 Americans have died by suicide each day. 1.4 million Americans attempt suicide. 90% of all individuals that die by suicide had a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death. Women are 2 times more likely to attempt suicide. In 2017, the suicide rate was 2 times higher for veterans than non-veterans over the age of 18. Over 950,000 years of potential life have been lost to suicide. Firearms accounted for slightly half of all suicide. In 2015, suicide deaths and attempts cost more than $69 billion in combined work loss and medical costs. 10.3% of Americans have actually thought about suicide. 54% of Americans have actually been affected by suicide in some way. Okay, so we may ask, why do people commit suicide? Well, here are some top reasons that I have found while inquiring on this topic. Number 1, depression and mental health illness. While there are many different factors that can influence a person's decision to commit suicide, the most common one of all is severe depression. A person with schizophrenia or any other illnesses that produces psychosis might be hearing voices that's telling them to kill themselves and to end their lives. Bipolar disorder is an illness in which a person experiences alternating periods of highs and lows in their moods. This can also cause an increase of a person dying by suicide. Borderline personality disorder is another huge condition with a high rate of suicide. Eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia can also have high rates of death by suicide. Number 2, traumatic stress. A person who has had many traumatic experiences, including childhood sexual violence, rape, physical and verbal abuse, or war trauma like military veterans, or just common trauma that you've experienced in your environment, these people are at a greater risk for suicide even many years after the trauma has occurred. Another topic is substance use and impulsivity. Drugs and alcohols can also influence a person who are already feeling suicidal. This can make them more impulsive and likely to act upon the urges that they normally would not do if they were sober. Substance uses and alcohol can also contribute to other reasons why people commit suicide. Some of these reasons may include the loss of a job or the loss of a relationship. So these rates of substance use and alcohol use disorders are very high among people with depression and other psychological disorders. Number 4, loss or fear of loss. Some of these situations include ending of a romantic relationship, losing a job, financial issues, losing social position, losing a living situation, academic failure, losing social or family acceptance due to your lifestyle, bullying, shame, humiliation, cyberbullying, being arrested or actually being in prison. All of those issues contribute towards suicide. Another reason is chronic pain and terminal illness. If a person have chronic pain or illness with no hope of a cure and they just feel like they're going to suffer for the rest of their life, suicide may seem like the only way out for these people to regain their dignity and control of their lives. So, according to a study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, the following health conditions were associated with a high risk of suicide: epilepsy, asthma, back pain, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, migraines, Parkinson's disease, diabetes, congestive heart failure, and much more. We have to watch out for these things. Another one is social isolation. With everything that's going on with the pandemic right now, individuals are at a higher risk for committing suicide because of the isolation. A person can become socially isolated for many different reasons. Some of them include losing friends or a spouse, undergoing a separation or a divorce, physical or mental abuse, physical or mental illnesses, depression, social anxiety, retirement, or they can actually have moved to a new location to where they don't know anybody. So you may say, I have lost someone. Just know that you are not alone. Suicide affects millions of individuals each year. Thanks to the donors and the volunteers for assisting that provide the different resources, they can help us heal. The opportunity to speak to volunteers who themselves are survivors of suicide. This is a great resource to reach out if you are having any feelings or urges, or you know someone that has committed suicide. If you have any questions or would like to connect directly with the individual there, the website is healingconversation@afsp.org. Another one that I looked up is the International Survivors of Suicide. So when looking at this website, something that stuck out to me was that they have International Survivor of Suicide Lost Day. Save this date, November 21st, 2020. So the International Survivors of Suicide Lost Day is an event in which the survivors of suicide loss come together collectively as one to find connections, understand, and give hope through their shared experiences. If you have any questions about attending or hosting an International Survivors of Suicide Lost Day event, please email them at survivorday@afsp.org. Ask directly if they are thinking about committing suicide. If they have lethal objects in the house, help them remove the means, i.e. weapons, guns, knives. Help them remove those if they're feeling suicidal. You can also call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. You can also text TALK to 741-741 to text with a trained crisis counselor for crisis intervention. This text is free and it lasts 24/7. So the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention lists a lot of different public health services that could be beneficial. Please take the time out to look at those. Some of the crisis services include the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. This lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. You can find more information out about the Lifeline by visiting suicidepreventionlifeline.org, or you can even call them directly at 800-273-8255 for immediate service. Another one is the Veterans Crisis Line. For more information about the Veterans Crisis Hotline, please go online and visit them at www.veteranscrisisline.net, or you can even call them directly at 800-273-8255 and press 1. This individual has been trained in crisis intervention, and they have active listening skills, and they can collaborate with you on the problems that you present. To find more information out, please visit them online, www.crisistextline.org, or you can text TALK to 741-741. Exercise, eat right, get enough sleep. Please find a mental health provider or clergy to support you. Please visit the different websites online for suicide prevention. Learning about a safety plan could be very beneficial in recovery. These plans will help you recognize what puts you at risk, find coping strategies to do not rely on presence of others, reach out to family and friends that can help you in this crisis. The National Suicide Prevention Line is 1-800-273-8255. They deal with minorities, Native American, individuals who are veterans, LGBTQ survivors, and a lot more. Please visit your primary care provider, your local hospital, your local walk-in clinic, the local emergency department, the local urgent care. Please find a mental health provider. Being the healthiest you is the best you. Being alive is the best you. You are beautiful, you are strong, you are loved, and you are wanted. If no one ever told you that they love you, guess what? I love you. Continue to stay prayed up, continue to get knowledge, and know you are not alone. Until next time.